Hello and welcome to the RWBY podcast. I am Hans Zimmer's farting French horn mediocrity 4.
What? What? I am a man who loves Hans Zimmer but really does not understand that reference. And another also
You will by the end of the podcast.
Okay.
I'm at a loss, but it may be the alcohol. I'm the esteemed moderator of this podcast, high powered.
And I'm the guy who loves Hans Zimmer, does not understand what that reference is. I already said that, just realized that we're not doing takes, so everybody's going to hear that again. I sound like an idiot. Also, I'm pissed that we didn't have any highlights of Renora kissing in the trailer. I'm dude, what the heck?
And the lack of a Ying trailer.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. But
so what we're doing is we're talking about the last couple episodes of Chibi Season 2. We're talking about the Volume 5 trailer that came out the other day. We're talking about all the convention news and stuff from New York Comic Con,
and
anything else
the leaky ship that is Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, and any other things that might cross our mind. We might mention the Fat Man Falling video in passing, like I just did. And yeah, we'll talk about the release schedule for Volume 5, and we're gonna keep predictions down to a minimum because we already have a 3-hour podcast about our Volume 5 predictions, and I think most of our predictions are
it's great. You should listen to it again as a primer.
True.
And we all probably need to get our bingo cards ready too for this volume.
Oh yeah, I need to.
That's true.
I have a joke one that I made a couple months ago, but I need to make a more serious one.
Definitely go back and listen to our predictions, because going back and listening to our highlights, which another video you should watch, we actually are right quite a lot, actually. When you
especially high powered, like it was so absurd.
Especially high powered. High powered is right about things that shouldn't even matter. He was right about Ilya, how Ilya would look too. Like, that was creepy almost, like how much he knew about that. So
maybe I'm a time traveler. Who knows? If I was,
I think like my theory is that because you're a drunk Texan, you're able to predict fellow drunk Texan Miles Luna's every move.
Well, I'm a drunk, well-armed Texan. Miles Luna's is just a drunk Texan.
Yeah, which means you're able to predict him. That puts you ahead of him. That's the point.
Exactly. So let's get on to the Chibi of the RWBY variety.
And starting with the Fixer, which is not a superhero.
Which had a tough act to follow because it comes after what is still
the best
Chibi episode ever.
Oh yeah,
the Mystery Bunch.
Yes.
Mystery Bunch.
The Mystery Bunch.
The Fixer has some. Isn't the best Chibi episode?
No,
but it's weighed down by the Fixer bits. Every other bit is like damn good.
Well, you mean the middle?
Well, there's only one other bit.
There's only one other bit.
Because the Fixer is split up into 2 and sandwiches or bookends the episode.
Can I soapbox here just real quick? It won't take that long, as long as it usually does.
Sure. I already know what you're going to say. I think
you already know what I'm going to say. Fuck Tai and Chibi. It's just, he's getting worse and worse. And Robert and I talked about this, I think, when the episode came out in just our general chat. And we've talked about this before on the podcast, but it's not funny. The dad jokes are not funny, and they've gotten less funny over time. They're forcing it, and it's just annoying. Like, it's as annoying as your dad trying to be cool. It's not just funny.
Which I know all too much about.
My dad doesn't ever try to be cool, which I do at least appreciate.
Like, if I wanted a dorky dad trying to act cool, I'd just go into the next room.
See, exactly. Like, people already know what that is, so it's not funny. It's not. The jokes aren't clever. They're not interesting. They're just annoying, and he's just a pain in the butt. It's not funny or clever.
Which is kind of a shame.
It's gotten worse.
It's a shame because it was like, this is good stuff at the beginning, and it's just gotten like progressively like worse. Because I feel like they're just like, we got to play these dad jokes, but let's actually.
Well, they made him annoying too. He was funnier like when Yang would actually like agree with him. You remember that back when he would do puns and Yang would like actually high five him and stuff like that?
Yeah, like it's better off whenever he's like actually playing off of the other characters, specifically Yang.
Yeah. That works.
And I think he needs to stick to that more, where like he's playing off. Like, I actually enjoyed the part where like, I'm trying to be the cool dad, and it's like he's competing with like Crow.
That one was funnier.
And then the bit too, where they both brought into the parent teacher conference with Crow and Tai,
Oh,
Oh, that was
funny.
hilarious.
That was
That was
good.
hilarious, but that's not him trying to be cool. That's a completely different sort of thing. But that one's
Yeah.
hilarious. It's one of my favorite ones. I mean, him trying to compete with Crow is. I thought that one went on way too long. Also, it's definitely not my favorite. This one's probably the worst one yet, though.
I mean,
So that's why I said-
it says a lot when you have a comedy show with a character whose funniest moments is from the actual serious show.
Yeah, that's not great. That's a good point.
And I will say this: it's Bernie who does the. No, who's
Yeah,
the voice actor?
yeah, you're right, Bernie Burns.
Bernie Burns, like, for the voice acting that he has done in Volume 4, like, whenever he's on screen, is darn good.
Oh yeah,
But he's playing a dad, and he is a dad, so, like, he's just like, oh, okay. Like, I've already got the cargo shorts on, so I mean. But, I think it's funny though. Whenever he comes out to do like the plumbing and stuff, it's like, oh man, the plumbers union would be really happy with this prole running around trying to fix stuff. And there's just a bunch of tape over it. And I'm like, oh man. It reminds me of a line in I think Half-Life Episode 2 where it's like, yeah, we got all these turrets working. They're held together with baling wire and spit. Good intention. But I mean, it was probably low. I mean. Like, there's really not much to talk about. It's, oh no, something breaks, and then, he tries to fix it, but then ends up making it worse.
the middle skit's funny though.
Story of my life.
The middle skit is amazing.
I think the junior detectives is usually pretty funny, and it's not always funny, but their best ones are really funny.
Yeah, it's always clever. So here's the reason why I like this junior detective skit. So first of all, it's like, oh, they come in and like, oh man, I'm glad we saved these orphans. Like, typical thing where it's like the heroes come in to save the day. It's like it's got to saving a basket full of kittens from drowning or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Pyrrha and Nora are there, which they probably picked like some of the best characters to like foil against them too also. And then Pyrrha's sitting there going like full psych on Sun. And then Neptune gets all hurt because Sun ate his chocolate bar.
Wait, you watched Psych?
Yeah. Well, I've watched a little bit of it, but like I understand what they were going to with all that part two, where it's
I
like,
love that.
Well, it's all Sherlock Holmes.
I love that shit.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, it is Sherlock Holmes stuff too, also, but it's like that's a classic portrayal of like detective, like that's a classic archetypal portrayal of detective stuff.
I mean, the whole joke in Psych is that at that point when Psych had just started, people were more ready to believe that people were just psychic than just really, really smart like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
like for some reason, like if you go to shows like Medium and Ghost Whisperer, all those kinds of shows, yeah, the whole idea of a psychic detective was for some reason more believable to mid-2000s TV audiences than an actual, like, smart detective.
You know what I liked about all those psychic detective stuff was it, like, spun off into a bunch of, like, the ghost hunting shows, and, like, they'd run into the haunted hospital. It's like, hey, yo, bitch-ass nurse! It's like, I ain't afraid of your shit! Look at me and my tattoos. I know you don't like this, and they're like trying to like taunt the ghost into doing something. It's hilarious.
Oh my goodness!
I have not seen that. But shout outs to Nora literally pulling a skeleton out of the closet because that was fucking great.
Here is the best gag though from it is they do the whole like NCIS, like I think it's Florida, with like the whole yeah, and then he puts on, and then Pyrrha puts on the glasses and drops the cheesy one-liner.
CSI Miami.
Yeah, and
Miami,
it's literally like the guy at the scene.
It's the scream from the Who song "Won't Get Fooled Again."
Yeah, and it's literally the line where it's like, oh, the victim was baked into the cheese pizza, and then the lead detective was like looks at the person and he's like, well, I guess that's a puts on glasses cheesy way to go, and then like that sound just blares in the background.
Yeah.
That was a meme before memes were a thing.
Yeah, it's true. It really was a meme.
No, yeah, like it's a legit meme. Like that's a meme, right?
Thank you, Pete Townsend for writing the song, and Roger Daltrey for conducting the greatest scream of all time.
I no joke. I remember being on 4chan whenever like that whole like I forget what it's called though, but like that whole thing was like turned into a meme though. Like that was whenever I was in high school.
I think it was always. I mean, like I think the people who wrote CSI Miami wrote it to be that way because they would always choose the cheesiest, stupid one-liner for David Caruso to say right before they cut to the theme song.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
And then Nora even opens up the mouth too whenever she does it. Skel's like, it's perfect. It's so good.
The only thing more precious than Chibi Nora is Chibi Neo.
Oh god, I love Chibi Neo. Okay, so the second part of this skit like hits home with me. So my mom like works in front of a computer. So this is stuff that she'll do to me like all the time. So she'll be like, "Hey, I need you to order something off of Amazon for me." And I'm like, "Mom, it's like you sit in front of a computer and work at this stuff all day. It's like you should be able to figure out how to order things off of Amazon." It's like, "No, but I want you to do it." It's like, and I'm sitting there and I'm staring at my mom. It's like, "I'm gonna do this for you because I love you and you're my mom." But like, it hurts my insides knowing that you could easily do this. Or she like hands me her phone to like try to install an app on her phone. It's like, this is easy. They designed the iPhone to work for everyone.
The iPhone is for people that don't understand technology.
Hey, I take offense to that. I own an iPhone.
Just saying, that's what it's for.
Hey, I just like it because whenever I go from one phone to another, all my pornography gets transferred from one phone to the other. And I've got like 14,000 images on it already. And I'd say at least 75% of those are pornographic in nature.
I don't even have 11,000
I'm shaking.
photos.
You can't hear it, but I am shaking my head.
I would expect nothing less from you.
Hey, next week you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wait, no. We're not supposed to tease that.
Yeah, we are.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay.
He can cut it out if it's not. We're not supposed to tease it. I thought we were supposed to.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
The webcam.
The webcams, dude.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we've mentioned it before.
I thought we had mentioned it. That we're gonna. Yeah.
Well,
I know we mentioned it on Facebook, but
fuck it. We'll make it official. We're gonna be for the rest of this volume. We'll be coming to you live.
I don't know about the rest of the volume.
Oh.
So just the one episode probably.
We're gonna try.
We're gonna try it.
If the views are high enough and the thumbs up are even higher, then we'll probably keep doing it.
I would imagine the views will be higher because it's people prefer shit like that. So I'm gonna guess the views will be higher.
Okay, and so the next episode is, I think it starts off with more hijinks with the detective crew.
No. The next episode is Yang Boops, and I just want to take a second to say, if you are watching this, why? But you'll see like my cursor flying around because to speed up the editing process, I have a slideshow set up. So, I'm using that to for the images.
Is this that one that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever?
It's the one that doesn't, but that's kind of the joke, is that Neptune is just absolutely oblivious and wrong in every single way, and Yang punches him for it.
Yeah, and Yang gets super ass mad for being called a tomboy, which I think she kind of fits the definition of being a tomboy.
She is a little bit, but
I love the image. I love the image I grabbed from this episode. Yang's eyes are just like wide and white, and she's got like her.
That's Ying's kryptonite. That's how Adam will cut off her other arm.
She'll
call a tomboy whenever they're fighting, and then she's like, "What?" And then other arm's gone.
I mean, I think it's not my least favorite skit from Chibi, but it doesn't make sense. So I find it. It's not bad, but I didn't find it very funny because like she's not really what Neptune is saying, so I didn't really dig it.
Well, I mean, I think that's the joke. The best part of this skit is how Tumblr lost their freaking mind over it.
Oh, did they?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Ass hurt is always a good way to start off my morning. It really is.
I mean, Tumblr, everything makes Tumblr mad.
I'm trying to. What was the other skit or two And then this is and then also John's having a mental breakdown because he might have stole something, and he's like, "I'm a criminal now." You gotta.
That was kind of funny.
That was at the end of the episode. The one after that is Steals and Wheels, which is a bunch of Roman Neo like ads.
Oh yeah, those are pretty
like
funny.
like Rick and Morty TV ads.
No,
Yeah, those
what it
are actually
reminds
kinda
me of it reminds me of the Big Bill Hell's auto dealership ad where they have challenge pissing and they'll fuck your wife whenever you try to buy a car.
Never heard of that. Sounds like a 4chan thing.
So here's the story behind that. So whatever, like, I guess there's a convention like where car salesmen get together.
God, that sounds like someplace I'd never, ever, ever want to go in my life.
And so they actually got to get, and so a whole bunch of people got together. And they're like, "We're gonna make this video because we're just gonna do it." And they basically use just a shit ton of stock footage, and they make like a really terrible commercial for it, though.
God, that sounds like it's worse than the YouTube convention.
The YouTube convention is great because you see people making a fool of themselves, and then iDubbbz just sitting there loading his magazine for content pops later on down the road.
I do enjoy iDubbbz. I do enjoy iDubbbz. But it's worse because that YouTube thing is like really close to where I live. Because in Anaheim.
You see, that's the problem though. I'm having a hard time remember the Steals and Wheels episode. I'll be honest. I recommend the episodes I remember the most are like 20, 21, 22.
20 was, I think, slightly better. I didn't care for 21 at all, and I didn't care for 19. I didn't care for 18 much, except for the middle one.
21 had its moments, but what was that was basically the skits for it almost.
Isn't there one more for 19? What was the last one for 19? I think we mentioned it, and then we had to jump back to
it was The Fugitive.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of funny.
That's kind of how I expect John to react to like in like the actual show.
Oh
where,
yeah,
like,
no, that's
true.
He
He has to commit a crime, but it's like, you know, one of those like victimless crimes where it's like, oh no, I downloaded I downloaded all the seasons of Game of Thrones. I'm a felon now.
It's literally the episode of SpongeBob where they steal a balloon and then they go as fugitives, and then Patrick eats the bar of chocolate and then thinks SpongeBob takes it, and then they go back and then they confess and then they go to jail for 1 minute because they stole the balloon on National Free Balloon Day. That was a great episode of SpongeBob, by the way. If you haven't watched it, that's a good one.
Never liked SpongeBob.
What?
I like SpongeBob when I was growing up.
That's one of the best SpongeBob references.
Now because it's been like the meme farming of SpongeBob is absurd.
Dude, SpongeBob memes and references are always good. What was the best? One of the best SpongeBob references from that is guess what I've got? Rectangle.
Well, it's like I think the reason why SpongeBob is so easy to meme is because it's like the last and right now the only show that's not afraid to do like the whole rubber hose animation stuff.
Yeah.
Like it actually like, hey, we are a cartoon. We're gonna look like a cartoon.
Yeah, true.
I think we could hop on to episode 20.
Yeah, let's go to episode 20. Good idea.
But we're not gonna mention Felipe and Ruby just being completely oblivious to Jean, despite and just being adorable. Still have no idea what you're talking about. I don't. Ruby doesn't know what going rogue means. Of course, she wouldn't.
Yeah. I think that's part of the point.
Next is Ride Along, which I did not like this joke.
I did not like it all. I literally have nothing to say about it. It's boring. Let's go. If High Power does.
Oh wow!
Talk about the next one.
They run over the shopkeep. Jean's got a mustache.
I feel bad for the shopkeep. The shopkeep is constantly like the butt end of a bunch of jokes.
He's the perfect comparison between RWBY and Avatar: The Last Airbender, because
the cabbage man.
He's their cabbage merchant, but he's never as funny as Cabbage Merchant, and that's just exactly
because he never talks.
Avatar is to RWBY. That's exactly what Avatar is to RWBY. It's everything is better. So the next one is the escape room, which I actually don't mind. I find that one funny, and I'm glad that it's Winter that's scolding Yang specifically. I find that really funny.
Yes, Well, that's a good. It's a good.
Well, she's the
It's a
only
good
female
comparison.
teacher thing since I guess they still haven't recast Glinda.
I think
and
Glinda
I don't
has
mind.
been reclassed, kind of, sorta. I don't know.
No,
Not really.
no.
Maybe.
Wait, what
I
is
don't
she?
think
Is she
so.
a knight now then, or a paladin?
What, Winter?
Recast, not reclassed.
I thought I heard you say reclassed.
No.
No, I know she. I
No,
wasn't sure-
remember
I was-
Kathleen Zelch, like,
I
freaking
do
went
remember
off,
that.
and yeah.
She was as big of a bitch as Shane Newville.
Yeah. No, she was even worse, because at least Shane, like, you can
She
see,
was
like,
worse.
yeah,
She was
I can
worse, yeah.
kind of see where you're coming from. You're wrong, but, you know,
At least he got
I
he
feel for
also-
you. You got the bad end of that stick still. Kathleen Zelch just was
His
vehement.
wife also left him during that time. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
of
so you
sympathize
kind
with
of
him a little bit
sympathize
more.
with him.
And I think his wife was like actually kind of cute and everything. So it's like I feel for you more in that situation. Kathleen's just annoyed because of Bernie's girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, it was something freaking petty, too.
Yeah. Anyway,
One of my few rules of life is never date anyone that you work with. This is a rule that most people should live by. It makes your life a whole lot easier. I promise. TM.
so the
Anyway, the escape room.
escape room is actually kind of funny because it is very current. It's very
This is the hot meme thing that all
It's-
of us
it's-
that all of
it
us
is-
asshole millennials are doing right now. is
except for
going to
probably all
escape
three
room.
of us. Have any of
No,
us?
I've been to an escape
Oh, you
room.
have. Oh, you have.
Okay,
Okay.
so here's a funny little story about the escape room. Whenever I went to,
I've
So,
done escape room games, like online.
There's a they had like a scratch off in the escape room, and so they're like, "Oh, we need something to scratch this off." And being me, I'm like, "Okay, here you go. Just take this to scratch the thing off." And I pull out my knife,
Your knife. I
and
knew
then-
you were gonna pull out a knife. Yep.
and then the other family. So I'm there with my parents. I'm also there with another family. And then the mom's like, "Why are you carrying a knife?" And I'm sitting there and I stare at her. It's like, I carry 2 knives and a gun. And then I show them my gun too also, and then they're just looking at me horrified. And then they just take the knife and start scratching it off, and I'm like, "Okay, there you go. Give it back before you hurt yourself."
Yeah, I used to carry a pocket knife everywhere too. I don't anymore. Just
I carry 2 knives. I carry a working knife and I carry a problem-solving knife.
LA County is very weird about knives, so I just kind of avoid it.
Well, Texas, I can carry like broadswords and everything now too. Also.
Oh yeah,
so
no.
it's
If I lived
great.
in Texas, I'd have like a fixed blade for sure. Absolutely, I really like knives.
So here's the thing though. Like, this is actually good insight kind of on Yang's character. So if she's trapped in a room where she could simply punch through the door to get out of the room, then she would do so. And I like the part where, so here's the best part. So they have, it's
Crow.
it's Winter and Yang in one room, and then it's Crow, Sun, and Neptune in the other. And Sun
Ren.
and Neptune.
And Sean, I think
yeah.
Sean's
And
in
Ren.
there. Oh, and
Yeah.
Ren. It's
There's
Ren.
no Neptune. It's Sun, Ren, Jean, and Crow.
Yeah, it's Sun, Ren, John, and Crow. And literally Crow is sitting like next to the answer, and it's just backwards, and it says the code is like 1 2 3 4 5, or 1 2 3 4, and he's just
Yeah.
sitting there like dismissively, like not even helping the entire time. And then Winter's more upset that Yang simply just punches through the wall to solve the problem, which would be a correct solution, but it's like, no, you're not supposed to break the room to get out of it. You're supposed to like go towards it. And then they're just sitting there considering of like, oh, we're gonna eat Ren, or no, were they gonna eat John, or were they gonna?
They're gonna eat.
Yeah, they're gonna eat
They're
Sean.
gonna eat John. And then Crow's just like, whatever. They should have had like a slight, like they should have had, if anything, I would have liked is like Winter looks over to Crow and Crow looks over to Winter, and they both realize that they have the same problem, but it's being presented in different ways.
That would have been really funny.
And they had like just a sympathetic look, and all the shippers would just explode.
I mean,
But then again, I'm a snowbird shipper anyway.
I'm a
so,
snowbird shipper too, for sure. I like the preview and the hint of Winter interacting with Yang and other people. I think that's cool. I really want that to happen. I love Winter so much.
I would like to see Yang's interactions with Winter in the actual upcoming volume.
I was always
That
more
would
of a
be
spring
amazing.
guy.
No, I mean, Winter is actually my favorite season too. So
I prefer winter, but winter in Texas is like a week where it's actually cold and then it freezes for 2 days and everyone freaks out. And then it goes back to like being like 60-degree weather and everything's great.
So an average day in Missouri, then.
Yeah, I've been to Missouri. Missouri's weird, but Missouri I think is colder than Texas.
It is. It is. It is, but quite a bit.
It's actually something I liked about Missouri. Anyway, the next one is what's it called? It's the one where they start this. They preview the.
It's the Trouble Clefs.
The Trouble Clefs. Which
That's
I
a
love
clever.
that
That's a clever name.
With the, that's a legit like band name.
Okay, so here's the part that I like the most about it, though, is Cinder is like. Is Roman's trying to sell this thing super hard, and Cinder's like, "Oh man, this is a great idea." That she realized what actually.
I love.
This is stupid because Cinder had the dumb ideas for the longest time, and then now it's like been reversed. It's like, nah, man, this idea is stupid. But then you can sit there and point back to previous episodes where Cinder had terrible ideas.
Yeah, and I love that they are playing up Roman like he's some kind of salesman.
Like
with all the ad skits that they've done, where it's like a TV commercial, and then this one where he's trying to sell the band to Cinder.
Oh yeah, no.
Like
Roman. I
the
feel
canon.
that's what Roman was, because Roman probably was like a drug dealer and stuff like that. He probably was that kind of huckster salesman. I can totally see that. That's.
I'm a salesman in real life, so I can appreciate the hustle.
Oh, you're in sales too? So am I.
Yeah, I sell guns.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I'm in sales too. So lots of people, everybody's in sales.
Also, I
Roman's
just
like the huckster sales guy for sure.
I love how they make all the guitar and these skits. They make all the guitars axes.
Yes, literally axes. I mean, yeah, I think that's funny. I like how they actually did a badum.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I like how they had the two. Does the Beowulf Grimm and the Geist Grimm have a name? I forget.
The Geist is Floyd.
Floyd, yeah.
I know the Beowulfs had names too, but I can't remember what they were.
Or something
I can't remember what they were.
They definitely were stereotypical white guy names for sure. I just don't remember exactly which ones they were.
Yeah, I just remember the Geist was Floyd.
Yeah. That one's actually the best of these 5. I think was 20. 20 was as good as a lot of the other episodes. I think the rest are a little bit weaker.
Okay.
Of these 5. So next one is Happy Birthday Ween.
Which is we get into the
the next one.
Episodes.
Yeah, and the next skit is the Geist Pie. With this murderous looking Yang.
I like the Geist Pie, but I feel that it overstayed its welcome just a little bit. Like, if they shortened it by like 20 seconds, it probably would have been a whole lot better.
Agreed.
I felt really sorry for Floyd by the end of this skit.
Oh yeah, no, I like it whenever Floyd gets thrown under the bus. Though Floyd is like the hidden like MVP of this Chibi.
I think Floyd is Carrie's best voice acting work.
You're not wrong.
It's like, man, I sure got a great idea. Let's possess this pumpkin. Proceeds to get cut in half. Yeah. Proceeds to get baked into a pie. Proceeds to get cut again.
Yeah. And
then that has the and then we get more of a yandere Nora too. Also, I love
yandere with the love potion, the devotion potion.
As you guys know very well that I am quite the Renora shipper. In fact, I consider myself.
Wait, you're a Renora shipper? I thought you were a Black Sun shipper. Okay, hold a second.
A Silent Night. All the way.
I need to put down the bottle at this point.
I am the Renora shipper. So with my fellow Renora shippers and I have talked about this before, and I think it's funny that out of all of them, I'm the only one out of like the hardcore Renora shippers on Republic. There's like 3 or 4 of us that anytime anybody mentions Renora, we're always there. And I'm the only one that likes yandere Nora. I actually think it's hilarious because it's
I agree too.
It's
I
think
hilarious.
It's funny, and the thing is, while I wouldn't like her being an actual yandere in the show, the thing is, like, based on their history and their actual story, like, she is quite attached and devoted to him, and so it's not as far-fetched, and the real version is
Yeah.
not that creepy, but it's really not that weird
And-
based on how early they met and everything. I don't want to go into it any more than I already have, but I don't find Yandere Renori that weird. I think it's hilarious, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Like, they said in a recent Q&A, I think it was the Tumblr Q&A, that they said, yes, the characters are canon, they're just more extreme versions, so
They just turn everything up to 11.
how I interpret this is that, like, this is all the crazy ideas that just fly in and out of Nora's head, that she's either too smart or either too smart, too scared, or too scared to act on, or like by the time she's like, "Ooh, I should act on that," it's just out of her head and she's on to something else.
I'll be frank too. I feel that Nora and Ren are probably some of the more intelligent characters in the
Agreed.
in the show of RWBY. But I think it's funny though, because like it's Pyrrha and I think what is it, Weiss that burst in?
No, it's Ruby.
Yeah, Pyrrha and RWBY burst into Nora like.
Or no, it's Pyrrha and John.
Yeah,
John.
Yeah,
John burst in.
John knows what's up.
Yeah, John knows exactly what up, and then Pyrrha's like, okay. Because like
Pyrrha, you know, you can interpret that as Pyrrha trying to be wingman. Really, she just wanted more time alone with Jean.
Yeah, exactly. I think what made this one so funny is that the one that made the previous Yandere Nora funny, the cast one where she tries to, that one's funny because of, you know, it freaks Ren out so much that he actually walks away on his broken cast, and she's all creepy, and that's funny. This one's funny because of the whole defying expectations thing. You think she's making a love push for him, which is, you know, creepy and weird in its own way. Harry Potter reference, great. But then the fact that he actually comes up from out of the cauldron is the fucking hilarious part.
It's kind of funny because
I'm going to go extremely off topic here, but I'm going to do it just for grins. So is Nora a sub or a dom when it comes to Ren?
Dom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dom.
I feel like they I feel like they're both switches and they just rock paper scissors for it.
But if we're gonna be that specific, I think she just wants the D either way. Like she just wants it, no matter how she can get it.
I'm just happy to get it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm going with. But yeah, no, this one actually is pretty funny. I didn't care. The first one's not super like a hybrid that it goes too far, and the last one is.
And now, hold on.
I hate
now, for this piece of trash, and that was a visual pun for those of you watching.
I wish I knew what media was talking about. You guys.
It's just the image of Ruby in the trash costume.
That should be like, this is where all the ships belong, and just Ruby's.
Oh yeah, the memes that have come from this image alone.
I think it's funny though, because I like how they actually give Ruby a birthday, but then I also see it too as like, if this was Ruby, she would actually like abuse this to like no end in her. Yeah. If this was like, oh, it's the Halloween equivalent in Remnant. And then Ruby's like, ha ha ha! It's like, give me your candy. And it's like, oh god, government's coming in to tax all my candy gains right now. This is terrible.
See, I can see her actually doing it, but it's not funny. Like, there's no punchline. There's nothing funny.
Oh, the punchline is that Ruby is trash.
Yeah, it's still not funny. I just didn't laugh. I still didn't find it funny.
Holiday stuff is always weird when you're dealing with the fictional world.
Yeah, I mean, I love Halloween. It's my second favorite holiday after Christmas, but...
Like, but how does that work in Remnant if there's no Catholic Church?
I don't know, maybe it's like, how we're gonna dress up as Grimm so like, we don't feel bad. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. It would be even weirder if they did, like, Christmas or Thanksgiving. Or even Valentine's Day, because, like...
Dude...
Yeah.
Did we have like a Valentine's Day light in one of the Chibi episodes? No,
we just had shipping stuff.
But I kind of want them to have like a holiday or something like in the next volume, but you know, whatever. But that's just me, and so I mean that basically wraps up the volume. It's just Ruby's just being an asshole, like scalping everyone's candy.
Yeah, that wraps up that episode.
And then the next episode is the Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, the Battle of the Bands, yep.
Okay.
And it's just that skit.
It's one continuous skit. I'll be honest, I actually enjoyed the Battle of the Bands.
And
I'll admit, I didn't see it coming. I don't know why. I really should have.
I didn't either. And
I really should have, but I didn't.
I know. Neither of us did.
I empathize with Roman really hard in this game. He's like, battle of the Bands. I get it. I see what you did there.
On retrospect, I actually do like this one more than 20 was good and 22 is good. I think the other three are pretty weak of these last five.
Yeah, I mean, you can totally tell the team like shifting focus back onto the main series. You can like fine, feel it.
If we'll summarize in a little bit for the whole season, but of Chibi, but I mean, I do. This one kind of went on a little bit long, but I did appreciate the intros. Again, Ty is super fucking annoying. It's not funny. Why did they have to add that? But I loved the actual. I love the names are great. Puns and Roses, the Neptunes, which is great, and I did love the whole the '90s boy.
Oh, the P3N3. Oh, it's Penny spelled stupidly.
No. The best.
That was the best line. Oh, it's Penny spelled stupidly.
The best part. The best part that I enjoyed was not whenever like the band was doing their shenanigans. It was whenever it was going back to the judges, and you had Ozpin, Ty. It was Ozpin, Ty.
No, it was. I thought it was just Oobleck, Port, and Crow were judges, and then Ozpin was just the announcer.
No, and Winter was a judge too, also.
Oh.
And then they all have different faces on it, and it reminds. And so like, Crow's just sitting there boozing himself up. Winter's all serious and stuff, and then like, Ozpin's like, man, I've seen this shit like a billion times by now. And then like they legit. I like how like Roman is like has prepared a legit like band and everything, and is like, oh, I know we're actually gonna fight. And I love Penny's little like one like Daft Punk DJ sort of setup too, with like her.
Am I the only one who wants to hear the full version of this song?
I do. I want to hear it. I hope we get it.
It sounds really good. It sounds better than like a lot of other Jeff Williams songs, and Jeff's really good. So I really want to hear this full song.
I'll be honest. I have a feeling they were like, we just want you to jam, and they just turned on the record button during a jam session. That's what it feels like. Like, what it reminds me of is the Frankenstein song. I forget which band plays it, and the Frankenstein song is literally just a jam session where they just left the recording on.
Oh, yeah. Edgar Winter Band?
Yeah,
exactly.
the dun 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 dun. Yeah, that's
and the guy's sitting there with the
awesome.
piano guitar, and he's like just messing with all the buttons on one of the freaking like amplifiers, and they're just like going to town, and they're just having fun.
Yeah, no, I do. The judges are funny with Oobleck, Port, Winter, and then Crow, and they're all actually enjoying it. Except, and like Crow's like kind of tapping along, but he's mostly looking at his drink. But I think it's funny that all the rest of them are actually enjoying this almost metal music. And of course, they had to do the thing where they almost had Neo sing.
Just to throw that middle finger to the audience.
But the thing is, okay, here's the thing with that. That is interesting, because if they said, and now of course I'm reading too much into this, but I am a RWBY fan, so that means I have to read too much.
I was really hoping, like, going into it, like, it would be an actual music thing, and Neo would sing, but she would sing using the signs. Like, she'd just start throwing up the signs,
No, so here's the thing. That's why this is different. That's why, okay, I might be reading too much into this, but if she was attempting to sing and they're saying that the thing is actually real, that means she probably actually can talk.
I honestly think
maybe she just has nothing to say.
The big reason why Neo doesn't talk was how she was basically thrown in at the last minute, and they're probably just respecting Monty's wishes with her like not voicing anything. But I want her to communicate in some way, shape, or form other than violence.
Maybe. I do like how they all prepare for the battle once it happens. Nora puts her hammer into the kick drum. As a drummer, I appreciate that. And I like how the boy band like flips. What are they flipping, microphones or something?
Yeah, it's microphones.
And they all dance together.
Yeah.
And then it doubles back on the gag too, where Neptune catches John, and then immediately dies from anaphylactic shock.
I mean, I'll admit, like, the fact that they put so much effort and so many like little skits into building up this battle of the bands just for one stupid ass pun, it was worth it. I actually think it was worth it. It was funny. It definitely made me laugh. And I'm like, it's kind of like with me. It's like, I should have seen this coming and I didn't. And you know what? Hats off to you, Rooster Teeth. And what's the name of the guy who does these?
Tom Alvarado is the main writer.
Hats off to you for doing like an actual Chibi timeline thing. I think that's funny.
What's the word called? Subverting our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like Roman's reaction to that, like, and the whole band. None of that. That's the thing. It's not just Roman. None of them, like, they're not mad at Roman. They all actually don't get it. They all don't understand what's going on.
They're like, oh, we really fucked up here.
Yeah, like you can see even Emerald and Mercury are like, wait a minute, this isn't a battle of it. Oh, like that's funny. I appreciate that.
Freaking Ruby fires Y like an arrow with her base.
Also, shout out to Chibi Neo looking adorable.
Also to the friendly fire at the end with Nora.
Yeah, as Ruby's trying to close out the volume, like, yeah, thanks for another wonderful volume. See you next time.
Bam. Oops.
Wait, was she on my team?
And I actually forgot at that point. I actually forgot.
It was just chaos.
The first thing I pointed out with whatever that Chibi episode drop was the friendly fire incident.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So that's Chibi season 2.
I think it was quite good actually overall. I mean, there's like with the last season, there were disappointments. I'd say the chief among them being Tai Yang, being pretty lame, but it did give us, even in retrospect, what I think is the best Chibi episode / skit ever, which is the Scooby-Doo one, the Mystery Bunch.
I will say this season of Chibi made the wait period between Volume 4 and Volume 5 a whole lot easier.
Oh, I mean, Chibi, I appreciate Chibi so much. I remember being very skeptical when they announced it. I'm skeptical as fuck about Genlock, which we might talk about later. But that said, Chibi continues to be funny. Like, it's not always great, but when it's funny, it's really damn funny. And I mean, I watching the what's the fucking Scooby-Doo one, what they call Mystery Bunch. That's the hardest I've laughed in a long time. That was genuinely hilarious. So they still do a good job with these overall.
So we want to talk about some like announcement bullcrap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll just
wait. Announcements first, or the trailer first?
I say announcements first.
Okay.
Since we got all the announcements before we got the trailer,
okay.
and we'll do the trailer last.
Okay, High Powered, go ahead. Sorry.
What were the announcements again?
That was helpful. Well, yes. Well, okay. There's a bunch. I mean, Toon gave us a lot of information. One of the, like, we already mentioned one of them, which is that the characters in Chibi are canon. Their general personalities are canon, but what actually happens in Chibi isn't. That's pretty important, I think. I think that does sort of hint at the things that we've said before, especially what Robert and I have theorized about interactions in Chibi can be hints at interactions in the actual show in the next season. Ren and Nora are an example from the last season of Chibi and the last season of RWBY. I think the Penny Jean, meaning Penny might be interacting, that could be a possibility, as well as Winter interacting with Yang might be a...
I would assume that Winter would take interest in her friends because she really only ran into RWBY. She didn't run into like Blake or Yang. Oh god, imagine what Winter will think of Blake whenever she runs into Blake.
Yeah.
But I mean,
we're getting 14 episodes this year.
So
they've talked about how they're trying to make every scene count, which that's something that they should have been doing from the outset. But whatever.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is so we got the 14 episodes, which I like. I like the longer episodes, but it begs the question of is are we get so from my understanding I heard information from what I've read is that the goal is that they want the minutes to be of like actual episodes to be 12 minutes long. It's supposed to be the average. Supposedly. In quotation. So the fact that they're being forced to put out 14 episodes whenever they normally do 12.
I wonder what the average episode length is going to be.
Yeah, because I don't count like outro credits and then like the OP. So, I think we lost someone.
Huh? No. Unless we lost dude. Oh yeah, we did.
You should be able to rejoin back in though. So, whenever it comes to the episode,
you need to drag him back in.
Okay, I'll do that real quick.
What other? I feel like
there was an ass load of interviews. We've had so many interviews. I think we had more interviews in the preparation for Volume 5 than we have for any other volume.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got that. They had that panel at New York Comic Con last weekend.
So they had the New York Comic Con panel. They had the Twitch thing. They also had
the Tumblr thing.
The Tumblr one, which was garbage. Oh man.
Where did I get cut off this time?
I'm not sure. You haven't missed. We're still talking about we're just still spitballing about conventions.
We also had the interview during from like that one anime website that did the interview. That's not Crunchyroll. Did
we go over the information that we got out of this stuff yet? Like the episode number, the budget, all that kind of stuff. Have we talked about that yet?
This also has like a higher budget.
Yeah, and so I think to me, two of the biggest things that we got out of all this was the fact that we get 14 episodes instead of 12, which I really like, and we got a triple the budget of the last volume. That's a lot.
So whenever they say so the question is whenever they say triple is like, are they paying the animators more to animate more? Is there just more voice acting in general? I would assume it's probably a combination of.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's paying more people to do more work. I'm hoping to see another writing credit name on the episodes. That's something I'm going to be looking for in the first episode.
It's not going to happen.
Maybe they
we would have already seen something like that.
I like Tom Alvarado. I know he's mostly writing comedy, but the fact that he was able to do this Battle of the Bands thing means he's already able to do a timeline better than Miles can. So I feel like that means he should be.
No, it's not that he's able to do it better. It's that he actually does it. Miles doesn't even try. Which is just infuriating.
But I mean, those two pieces of news though are good. Like, let's be honest, more RWBY per volume is good. I think that means they can get more done. There's a lot of things that we've complained about them skipping, and I think that's good that they have more time to do it. And just more episodes is good.
Yeah. We've gotten
and the triple the budget thing is good. I think they're making money hand over fist on this show.
Speaking of that, we've gotten quite a bit. We've gotten quite a bit of information. We should
probably point out some of the few like important little nuggets of information we got from some of the Q&As. So I think one of the big ones is like they actually, this was assumed, but they actually confirmed was like, oh, you run out of semblance. I mean, you run out of aura, you can't use your semblance anymore. That seemed obvious, but it's nice to have a confirmation.
It is nice. That's true.
The other thing that I like too also was it's going to sound really grim though, but someone asked a question. I think it was the New York Comic Con panel about Pyrrha's death and how they specifically said that they wanted her death to be like super final and deliberate. And they basically explained, and this is something I remember, like at the end of Volume 3.
Just like how power got cut off there. Unless I got cut off there.
Dust manipulation.
Oh.
And then
can you rewind there for a minute because I lost you.
Okay, so what they mentioned whatever they asked about Pyrrha's death.
Pyrrha's death. I got that much.
So they made sure they wanted to make her death was super final, but that also led into them letting on to what Cinder's semblance is, which is dust manipulation. I still
don't think that's her semblance, but
yeah, well, that's just what they said. I'm just trying to like paraphrase and quote. And so basically, like she's able to manipulate dust, whatever. And so, and they're trying to like kind of like say, okay, what she was doing in X part was like her semblance, and what she was doing in Y part was like actually like her maiden powers, which still feels like a really gray area. In my mind, what I feel would good is like if you're a maiden, you have ability to magic, you could use that to like for one, like use magic, but then also two, like enhance whatever abilities you already have. Because for me, it feels like this is like me, like with my JoJo stuff, is like you can have a really shitty stand in JoJo's, but if you're really smart, you can make use of it. Like for example, like since Kakyoin in like part 4 could basically delete stuff in front of him, he could pretty much fly around if he wanted to by deleting the space in front of him.
Was that no? Kakyoin was part 3. You're thinking of Okuyasu. I think is his name.
Yeah, Okuyasu.
The hand.
Yeah, the hand. Which the hand is probably one of the most overpowered and broken stands outside of being able to freeze time.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, like there was just a bunch of like questions, like there's some like obviously like your throwaway questions, like your LGBTQ questions, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with like having that sort of shit in the story. It's just if that's the
guys, you don't have to ask that question every Q&A. The answer is always going to be yes.
Whenever we get to it, TM.
God, that's what infuriates me about the fact that that question is still even a question. Like, how many times do they have to answer it? They've always said yes.
Yeah, we're gonna get it, and we're clearly gonna get it with the momentum of the show. It's gonna happen. We're gonna see it.
Because what they want is they wanted to do the Mass Effect 3 route where we learn about the freaking character's sexuality with their second freaking piece of dialogue, and that is stupid. That is bad writing. That is not how it's done. God dang it.
Oh, Tumblr, why do you kill everything?
I will tell... Okay, so this is going to be spoilers for Season 3 of Narcos. So there's a character in Narcos where you have no idea that this character is gay until like the first few episodes of Narcos. And whenever that reveal happens, it just shows up and they're like, oh, okay, so this is a facet of the character now. And like they just like throw it out there. It's like, oh yeah, this is a thing now too also. But like that doesn't detract from like that he's like a drug kingpin or anything. It's just like, oh hey, it's like, one of these characters that we've known for a while, and now we know that like this is like a part of his character now. Like it's not even like a main thing of it.
Yeah, don't draw too much attention to it. Like that's what I think that Frozen did wrong, is that they try to go for the girl power thing, but they're like, looky, girl power, sister, she don't need no man. Like, okay, it's not that great of a movie. The music was fucking amazing, but then you have stuff like Moana, and you have Zootopia.
Yeah, I think Moana handled it a lot better. Zootopia was way more heavy-handed with it, but that was kind of the point of the movie. Like, it was a very theme-heavy movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Moana handles it perfectly. Moana handles it perfectly. She's a fucking badass girl. They don't overly point attention to it, and they just don't even give a fucking prince of any kind or dude of any romantic interest. And Moana's fucking awesome as a result. Like that's the way you should do that. Don't try to hit us over the head with it. Just do it like naturally. It just
needs to be like a one-off line. Like simply like here's an example. Like for RWBY, like they're doing some stuff, and it's like hey we're all relaxing at this inn or something, and this new like character that is introduced in something, he's sitting there talking like next thing you know, oh hey, you know, he or she's holding hands with like the similar sex or something, and they just walk off into the distance, and they're like they don't even need to mention it, just needs to be like in frame for like 5 seconds as they walk off. That's all I need to do. It's like, oh hey, I'm a badass fighter too, but I also like, you know, it's like I bat for the same team.
Yeah, like, and I'd even be fine with someone like I'd be fine with I'm pretty sure Scarlet's gay, but they another announcement that they said is that sadly we're not gonna ever really get a whole lot of Scarlet because they just can't get Gavin. Gavin just has way too much other stuff going on that they can't get him in the recording booth for more than like 30 minutes per volume. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Scarlet's he's heavily coded gay. I'd be fine with Yang turning out to at least be bi. Like, I'd be fine with that. I'd be happy about that, actually. Like, that would be, like, awesome.
That's kind of how you ever written in your fanfiction
Yes,
too. Also,
yes. That is how I write her. Don't remind me. There are some things I'm completely and utterly proud of, but there are some things where I'm just like, I can't believe I wrote this. And ironically, one of those things is my most popular story.
Yeah, I feel that I helped influence that story just a little bit too.
You helped influence the sequel more than
I did.
anything.
Well, I was like, hey, we should do the obvious outcome to all this.
Yeah.
But
hey, Just Act Casually and Just Act Maturely are the only RWBY fanfictions I've actually finished. Oh, that's.
Well, they're also like mercifully short. Like even my really long ones, even though they're like my 2 longest ones are 130 chapters. Very few of those chapters go about 3,000 words. I have mercifully short chapter like lengths.
I think let's talk about the trailer for a little bit.
Yes. So I'm actually pulling up the trailer now. We're gonna do this like Angry Joe style.
Okay, so
we are gonna go frame by frame and tear this sucker apart.
I
like let me get it warmed up real quick too. Also,
yeah.
I hate it slightly less on second and third viewings, but it's still like okay. Keep in mind, guys, right after we got the RWBY trailer, we got the Star Wars trailer,
which was so
and the Star Wars trailer was so good. It was so good.
There were so many memes.
Which, by the way, does Rooster Teeth just want to be outclassed this week? Because I'm gonna go on a tangent about that. So
no, Rooster Teeth was so cucked, like it's not even funny at like how hardcore they were cucked.
Well, and they did it to themselves by keeping the Yang trailer for no reason. There is no reason we haven't gotten the Yang trailer yet. They showed it. They showed it at New York. Yeah, they showed it at New York Comic Con. They showed it at New York Comic Con in its entirety. They should have released it at least for first members that day. There's no reason for it. Just to put this in perspective, because someone has argued that, like, oh, it's because they were all at New York Comic Con, they didn't want to upload anything. No. RTX, where every single person at Rooster Teeth is at the convention and working, they still managed to upload every single show on its scheduled day. Camp, Red vs. Blue, RWBY, Chibi, they were able to do that just fine. There's no reason why we don't have the Yang trailer yet, except they purposely kept it, I guess, in order to give the YouTube people something to watch Saturday. But I mean, there's a good number of people who are going to be going to the premiere, which is tomorrow night from when we're recording this.
And they're going.
The 3 of us are going, and we're going to be seeing that before we've even seen all the promotional material for Volume 5. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah. There's not much I can add, but yeah, there is literally no smart reason why they have it. They've showed it and they haven't posted it yet. It is literally idiotic. Like there's No excuse for it whatsoever.
I'll be real frank. I'm worried that this like fumbling of all these the trailers, like, because they promised them that we'd get them like every month, and then we would get them like once a month, but they would be like delayed into the next month.
Which we kind of did. The Blake one took a little longer than expected, but I mean, it was like a month and a week after the Weiss trailer came out.
Yeah, so I'm just worried it's gonna hurt like the viewer count though. And then,
yeah, it will because people like you don't want to try to find a good way to explain it. You don't want to overload people on a single day.
What's the saying in
because people
business?
got other stuff to watch on a Saturday.
Yeah, what's
like
the
I
saying
got
in business?
like good thing My Hero Academia season 2 is over. Otherwise, I might not have time on my Saturday to watch the Yang trailer.
Okay, here's the thing though. This is an important phrase for business. It's always under promise and over deliver. So you should always aim for.
That is true for everything.
Yeah, that's just supply and demand.
All right, so let's burst into this trailer real quick. So the first like 5 to 10 seconds of this is them walking into basically like an empty part of what I assume is Mistral, and it's
empty. I'm going to assume it's that too.
And by they, I mean all of Team Ranger plus Crow, and Crow is in there for like a split second. So we have no clue what that is. A lot of us were thinking it might have been.
I think it's Haven Academy, which is on top of that mountain. I think I'm not sure how well this lines up with the image we got at the end of Volume 4. Like, I've looked at them like next to each other. It could be like it. I could certainly see it fitting in there, but it just kind of looks. I don't know. It kind of looks like it kind of looks flat. Like, this has to be the very, very top of that mountain because there's no other way it could be. I would love it if they used that as like concept art to be like, okay, this is what it's going to look like at this angle. Now let's flesh it out from there because we only saw it from that one angle.
Now, one thing, okay, maybe it's not specifically about the trailer, but one thing I am very hopeful for this volume that I think we've kind of mentioned before is they did confirm what we all wanted more than anything, besides Renora making out, is that it is a Boston Say inspired season.
Yes, they straight up said it.
They straight up
said Bossing Say.
Confirmed Bossing Say, which, you know, I do enjoy. We do talk shit on Miles and Carrie and all of RWBY a lot, and you know it's deserved. But I am happy that they were at least smart enough to notice that because it's so obvious that this has to be a Bossing Say season. Because let's be honest, that was the greatest season of animated television of all time, and I should know I'm currently watching it for another self-promotion. We're doing a podcast on Avatar soon.
Yes, it'll be next week, I think.
Next Wednesday, yeah. 1 week from today.
And then the next scene is the Temple of Doom with Salem and Cinder. And they're basically talking about, you know, oh, this is the bargain that we made with the White Fang.
Which I got... just... There's some, like... contradictory information in this trailer. Information in this trailer that contradicts what we've seen in previous volumes. And one of that is that, the destruction of the kingdoms was never the White Fang's goal. Yeah, Cinder had to bully Adam, the most extreme, extreme cell agent within the White Fang. That is just this volatile force within the White Fang that Sienna Khan is like probably going to have a power struggle with. Cinder had to bully him into just helping her with Veil.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
So, it would make more sense if Salem said the White Fang promised to help us destroy Haven or destroy Mistral if we help them get what they want. Like that, because that lines up with their motivation. Salem is the one who wants to destroy the kingdom so that she can get the relics.
Yeah.
And at that point, the White Fang can just get tossed into the trash can at that point. For all that,
Unless Salem is actually secretly the good person in this whole scenario and is actually going to use the relics to do pull a Mojo Jojo and actually do world peace.
Yeah.
That was the best. That's like top 5 Powerpuff Girls episodes. It's the special that they did after it had been canceled. They brought it back for one more episode, and in it Mojo Jojo actually wins. And when he wins, he actually becomes this benevolent king of Earth, and everyone lives happily ever after. It's just the best.
And then it cuts into...
But I don't think they're that clever.
Yeah, and then it cuts into Ilya talking to Blake. And in my mind, it's it's I know we're enemies and stuff, but we're still we still respect the fact that we were once friends, and we could kind of be considered that we still are friends. Yeah. It's I just just as an off a book thing, it's you should probably just go. This ain't gonna end well, and I don't want to fight you, and I know you don't want to fight me.
I don't have any complaints about this scene that I didn't already address in the Volume 5 or Volume 4 finale podcast, or the podcast that we did about the rooftop fight, or the Blake episode that came after that with the entire White Fang plot is just a mess and the worst. And hey, guess what?
Is bad.
It's the one that was written mostly by Miles. So big shocker there, I know.
Big shocker there, yeah.
And then it cuts into Yang decking a fool because she can, and then immediately going red eyes, which I don't know if this is her showing off that.
Well, actually, it shows Ilya talking to Blake, and it shows part of the Blake character short that we got. And then it goes to Yang.
I think this is actually. I think this.
Yeah, $5 says that this is part of the Yang trailer.
Well, not just that. I think it's also confirmation, and I think we've talked about this before, but not on the podcast. That high powered. I think was it high powered who said this. That somebody said this, and it wasn't me. That whatever Yang goes after, she's gonna get the opposite.
That was me, and that was one of my favorite moments because I did the whole. Yeah. She will find her treasure, but she will not find the treasure she seeks. That whole "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" reference. It's in the highlight reel.
I remember the highlight now because I just watched it.
Yeah,
but I think the biggest there's.
But I think that's true. I think she's not. I think
her outfit looks so awesome. By the way,
her outfit is the fucking.
Even my least favorite little detail about the outfit. It turns out upon further research that is actually something that bikers wear to protect their neck. It's basically like the motorcycle equivalent of an airbag.
Her outfit is the tits. It is the dopeness. I hated her first outfit. I really did, and
I was fine with her first outfit, but I've said it before. I said it when we talked about the Volume 4 finale. I said when we talked about Volume 5 predictions, and I said it in our character breakdown podcast that went 5 hours. This is the best outfit in the entire freaking series.
It is 100. I could not agree more. 100% best outfit in the whole series. Absolutely.
Not as much of a fan of the slow-mo punch, but maybe when I see it in motion or whatever.
That's not something I really specifically hated. Another thing, I do like the way that Mistral looks. I love the hilliness and all that. I do think it looks. I absolutely love that. Can't argue with that at all. It's very, very Asian influenced. The thing with Lionheart is I'm confused at whose side he's on when he's saying what he's saying here.
It's for me, Lionheart is the double agent.
But after that Yang shot is the banner shot with Team Ranger and Crow looking at a painted background. It's a model.
And then we get the brown anime waifu.
Well, no, then we get Lionheart saying something really, really stupid.
Yeah, that was one of my least favorite parts. No idea what he's saying.
The entire advantage of
vague.
having play Risk. The entire advantage of having a lot of land is that you have multiple shots to keep your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, not only that, but
You can
this is a problem that has been hanging over the series since day one, since the outset, since at least since RWBY versus Torchwick in the Volume 1 premiere. What are all the huntsmen doing?
That's a good question.
How many hundreds of huntsmen are out there? And like, I know it's kind of just fresh in my head because Fat Man went on a big rant about it in his Volume 4 review. But like, and I think we addressed this in one of the podcasts. And I think I might have addressed this in one of my reviews, where we kind of complained that like the new Clavi was still alive at all. Like, why didn't Mistral take care of it sooner? Like, yeah, whatever. I am fine with breaking that kind of logic for thematic content. I will take thematic content over the obvious what would have actually happened in that scenario. Because I like the theme of like Rain beating the new Clavi and being the one that kills it. Even though realistically Mistral would have had a huntsman take care of that long time ago. But it's like you got all these huntsmen, and yet we never actually we never even really hear about what they actually do. We get bits and pieces. We know what they do because of like what Crow says they do and stuff in Volume 3, and that's another complaint. The fact that it wasn't until Volume 3 that we even knew what like huntsmen do, what they actually do, what their like job is like.
They're basically mercenaries.
Yeah, but it's like it makes the world feel a little less believable, and it makes the leaders of these kingdoms look all the more incompetent.
Incompetent, yeah. I was gonna say that makes it just look stupider.
Like I'm gonna have to do a video just talking about how Ozpin is actually like the most inept and stupid character in the entire show.
And that's why I'm so pissed that they brought him back.
Because it's like just a small example, like with the relics, like you can keep a check and balance, like each kingdom gets a relic or whatever. That would stop any like real major conflicts going on.
The relics are like the
thing
nuclear
is, they could use the relics to fight the Grimm. They could use the maidens to fight the Grimm. And knowledge of the relics and maidens would make the people feel safer knowing that you got these superheroes among superheroes with these super items of unimaginable power defending them. And when you make the people feel safe, there will be fewer Grimm attacks. Ozpin's secrecy and stuff just makes Salem's job 100 times easier.
Yeah.
Because not only can she now use all the secrets to manipulate stuff, but, I mean, all she has to do is be like, hey, there's these relics and maidens that Ozpin isn't using to defend you. Come to my side. I'd join her.
Okay,
Unlike Paragon for Life, and I would join her after if I found that out.
Alright, let's roll back to the trailer.
Yeah.
I think so. Let's try to pound out a few of the things real quick. So, cuts to the White Fang, talking about the White Fang part. That's all cool and all. We get a recap of a part from the White trailer.
Okay, actually,
okay,
let's dwell on the White Fang bit a little bit.
Okay, I have things to say about that too. So
why does Adam have a new outfit?
I actually like his new outfit.
I like his previous outfit.
All the models.
No, they didn't. They had Adam's character model with his old outfit last volume during the Yang Dream sequence and during the Volume 4 opening.
Okay, can I tell you why, Media?
Why?
Because you get a new outfit, you get a new outfit, you get a new outfit.
What about Crow? Why doesn't Crow get a new outfit?
Because Crow's is already fucking dope. That's why. Also, he followed them the whole time. I don't know.
Crow's outfit's so good, he just impregnates every barmaid that he runs into.
I mean, no,
Exactly.
you know what would be cool is if like this is Adam's like outfit when he's like this is his
It's
business
his dress
outfit.
uniform.
Yeah, it's just his
his dress
business outfit, and then when he actually like gets down to business, he wears the outfit from before because they had that character model in Maya already from last volume. So it's not like which that's kind of a weird thing with that's actually kind of a weird thing that they're doing with these character shorts. To be perfectly honest, is that like the whole point of changing the outfits is that they had to remodel all the characters anyway, so might as well update the outfits and show some progression. But then they keep doing these flashbacks where they're in their old outfits, and it's just like, at least in Blake's case, the old outfit was better. And same like in Adam's case too, the old outfit was better, and that one they don't even have the excuse because they already modeled and rendered it in my last volume.
But Ruby's outfit is better. Weiss's outfit makes
Is
sense
better.
for the situation.
Yang's outfit is like a night and
Yang's
day
outfit
difference.
is 1,000 times better. Ren's outfit
Nora's
is just
outfit
as
is
good.
good.
Ren's outfit makes him look sexier.
Yeah, and so Ren has that means Ren out.
And
Ren's
Nora's is
better.
almost like
Nora's is way better.
you can barely tell the difference though.
Yeah, but it's better because
Like
you got a bomber jacket.
subtlety is the key.
Yeah, but Nora's is better. Jean's is better for sure. Jean's is a huge improvement.
Well, he's wearing Pyrrha.
Better.
The best way to describe Nora's outfit.
Well, he
is
also
whatever
has actual boots.
The best way to describe Nora's outfit is the painting in the art museum that's like off kilter, and the guy goes up and just writes it, puts it on the 90-degree angle. It's okay, we're good now. It was just that slight embellishment, and it made
Nice.
everything better.
That's so
that's
accurate, dude. That is
comparison.
an amazing comparison. Yeah, that is exactly how I feel about it. It's very similar, but it's just better. Well said.
Also, with the shot, confirmation that High Powered will be creaming his jeans every time Sienna Khan shows up.
Gimme, my brown waifus.
Yeah.
I'm
Your
just-
brown Nico anime waifus.
With
With the tiger ears and stripes and that, like,
It's
freaking gypsy-looking outfit.
It's literally Mud Dick out of 10.
It is. Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably what it would be. Yeah.
But and then after that, it cuts to
What a little bit of theorizing here. What if Ilya ends up, like, being somewhat related to Sienna Khan? Like, Sienna Khan's her aunt or something.
I mean,
Well, like, it's heavily implied that Ilya's parents are dead as Linkin Park frontman, but
Ooh. Ooh.
I made myself feel bad
there.
with that one.
I was gonna say Chester's awesome, dude.
When I was in middle school, I was all about Linkin Park, but that was like 10 years ago.
I still like old Linkin Park. Live in Texas is one of the best live concert DVDs of all time.
so
Yeah.
what's after the so after the White Fang part, it cuts to like them running towards like a door.
Well, it cuts to Weiss from the Weiss trailer.
we can pretty much skip that. We've already seen that shit.
Yeah, can I point out a couple of things I have to? One, they're using way too much footage from the trailers that we've
Yes.
already seen, and
Yes.
two, every time somebody speaks, the trailer gets worse. Every
Well,
time.
that's just Miles channeling his inner George Lucas.
Like, if they never spoke, it would sound so much less lame.
But like,
Contrast?
like Ruby has this line here. I think this is the part where she's like, "We can make things better," and like, I mean, I love that you're still saying that, but you know, we don't need
that's
it.
what Ruby always
again.
says.
Yeah, having it in the show is fine, but this is supposed to be getting us hyped up and showing like new stuff.
We already know this about Ruby's character. This is her default.
Yes, it is her default
Yeah.
setting. But shout
I
out to Ren and Nora sitting together on the couch, and Nora's hand being really, really close to Ren's gun. If you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know, so-
No, it's like
Oh shit! It is. You're
yeah,
not kidding.
yeah, like his actual gun on his left leg.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his dick.
They are-
And my fan
They are-
fiction, yes.
They are always sitting next to each other.
This is good. More stuff saying yes, they are a couple.
Yep. I still need somebody to catch them fucking or making out.
Oh god.
I'm not sure we'll get that. And then we then we see Crow in a dungeon
Well, we have to get
with
something.
Team Ranger. Perhaps looking for the relic. Who knows? I don't really care if it has anything to do with the relic plotline. I don't care.
I mean, the only thing that doesn't sound completely stupid is when Crow says that his sister has a spring maiden and they have to go see her.
Which is, it's something that we already know, but now it's like confirmation that.
That's an interesting.
Oh, that reminds me. The poster. We got the poster recently, and Raven is featured very prominently on it.
She is, yeah, which I like, and I'm sure High Power is very happy about. I think the thing I like about that though is that just the fact that they say that and then cut to.
Yeah, Raven and two goons.
Traveling. Yeah, the Raven and two goons and what appears to be traveling. I can see the season converging on Raven, actually, this season.
Yeah, Raven seems to be the focal point of this season.
I think it was Sock that said that Crow's gonna end up leading Salem right to Raven and by extension the Spring Maiden. And that stuff's gonna go down there.
Yeah.
Well, I also brought this up too. Also, whenever we get done talking about this trailer, there's a few we've talked about this off podcast, but I feel they should be brought up because they're good primers for Volume 5. So we'll talk about that stuff whenever we get past this trailer, which we're like almost done with.
Yeah.
So
Raven with their smug freaking face that I just want to punch and kiss all at once.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I love Raven.
You can punch that face with your tongue. Think about it like that.
And then we get the shot of someone said it's Weiss's cargo ship being chased
I assume it is.
by rapier wasps, and so this is the same scene. We're gonna see this again later on, and it's the same scene that they showed in the promotional material where Weiss has like the glyphs all around her, and you can kind of see the outside.
Shooting laser beams.
Yeah. And fighting a rapier wasp, which we're finally seeing rapier wasps. They were mentioned in Volume 1, but we're finally going to see them. And you got this like floating island. It looks like a Skyloft from Zelda. And they all nice little detail is the gravity dust crystals.
And we've seen those crystals before too, also. In Salem's Hellscape.
It's very interesting.
I don't think so. Those were more like pinkish. But that doesn't matter because we already know gravity dust exists from like the actual series and Chibi and stuff. So this is a very good way to do this.
It's very interesting what they try to stay consistent with versus what they don't stay consistent with in this show. Like they do
like
try
how
to
strong the Grimmar. Like how much we're supposed to take them seriously.
Yeah, like they do try, like, oh, there's the dust crystals. Oh, there's the rapier wasp. Like, oh, we mentioned those before. That means we remember things. We're smart. Please, we're smart. Trust us. We're smart. And then, like, things that actually matter, they kind of forget all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, in RWBY's defense, makes a whole lot more sense than Avatar. I mean, the James Cameron version. The James Cameron.
I was gonna say, I was like.
Wait, when were there floating islands in Last Airbender? But no, like the whole Pandora thing, which someone brought like, oh, it's just Pandora. Like, with the whole gravity dust thing, it makes like 100 times more sense than Avatar ever did. So, confirmed, RWBY Volume 5 is better than Avatar, which is not a high bar to jump, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Also, spoiler alert, RWBY Volume 5 is not as good as Avatar The Last Airbender.
No. But what is?
Literally nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
I'm watching through it again right now. I'm part of the way through Volume 2. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, and like this trailer did not help things. Rewatching Avatar for the first time in 7 or 8 years. And then after having watched so many other shows and read so many other books since then, and watching this trailer is just like, Avatar makes RWBY look so shitty. Like, really, really shitty.
That's kind of how I felt when I rewatched Batman the Animated Series. Is that like
that too.
Before
that,
we had just gotten through RWBY Volume 4, and then I did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Samurai Jack, and a couple other like shows. I think I did like tried doing Mob Psycho 100, and I just couldn't get into that. And then I watched Batman the Animated Series, and I'm just like, oh my god, I almost forgot what it's like to watch like a legitimate like 10 out of 10 show.
Yeah, see,
like it was that refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Batman the Animated Series, and I like it. I loved it as a kid, and I still like it. Watching it again, it's still good. Avatar did it more for me than Batman because RWBY's like a continuous plot-driven show, and that's what Avatar is too. And Batman is more episodic, so that's why for me, it's like Avatar is more of the nail in the coffin for like it's more of a comparison.
It's a better point in comparison. I bring up Naruto a lot, if you haven't noticed. That's kind of like.
No, I've never noticed that ever, Media. Never noticed you talking about.
Dude, every time I bring up Dragon Ball, you just like tune out.
and Naruto, for that matter. Yeah. At least I know some things about Naruto because see, Little Kuribo did do a Naruto parody. He never did a Dragon Ball Z parody.
You should at least watch Team 4-Star, Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
I have, and it's not that funny for me because I never watched the show. Like they are funny people,
I get that.
And the other thing is, I did watch one of the guys from Team 4-Star did do an Avatar: The Last Airbender Bridge series, and it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
it really wasn't very funny. If I knew how to do an abridged series, man, mine would have been way funnier. I can't edit with the shit. So, not to say Team 4-Star isn't funny. Like them in general are hilarious, but I don't know that source material. And the one guy who wasn't wasn't one of the super main guys from Team 4-Star did an Avatar, and it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I know Masako X has done some. Masako X, who voices the abridged versions of Goku and Gohan. He did a Naruto abridged, and it's just like really obvious that he's doing all the voices, and he doesn't have a whole lot of range. Like what?
Right, I'm gonna have to stop y'all real quick because we've gotten way off course.
Yeah, so we're talking about bridge series.
Anyway, Little Kuribo is better.
We've pretty much wrapped up the trailer.
Yeah, there's some action shots. There's some clips from like the Blake character short, Yang riding on a motorcycle. More stuff from the Weiss short. The rope dart.
Okay, so
I'm looking at the rope dart itself, and somebody brought it up. I think this might be the Seer. That tentacle Schizozoa.
Ooh.
The only other thing that someone brought up that
either that or it's not very well detailed because I'm looking at like just the frame with the rope dart and like nothing else, and it looks like a rubber tube with just a blade sticking out of it. It doesn't look like there's anything wrapped around anything.
The only person who uses a rope dart in this entire series is Arslan. And we haven't seen her since volume 3.
And
we might get characters with that.
We might.
Like,
but
someone said Watts might be into that sort of thing.
But I wouldn't complain specifically, but they did sort of say that we're not going to get a lot of those kind of characters,
which is good.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah, that's just a plus. There's no way around it.
As much as we're complaining about this trailer, as much it is absolutely way worse than the Star Wars trailer. Watch Star Wars trailer. I am hyped as fuck for that because it actually looks really good, and I do like Star Wars. I know it's not perfect, but I'm very hyped for that. But I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good news that we did get out of the recent news and information, like the fact that they said they're really not going to be including a lot of those minor characters much anymore. I hate Oscar with every fiber of my being for how much they fucked him up. And I don't care what anybody says. Watch the first 10 or 15 minutes of Avatar. And you have all the main characters with so much more personality, character, and motivation than Oscar has after more time than each of those characters had. So don't tell me they didn't fuck up Oscar. They did.
Oh my god, he is such a non-presence that at the end of his review, Fatman was like, "Oh, fuck, I forgot to talk about Oscar. I got nothing.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing. That's what scares me. Carrie saying, and I guess not to be negative for a little longer. Carrie saying that Oscar has become one of his favorite characters scares the fuck out of me. Because both Miles and Carrie think very highly of Blake and they love Blake. And look how shitty Blake is. The funny thing is,
not only that, but just how much of a disaster her entire storyline is. Like,
exactly.
just even if she was the best character in the entire show, even if she was RWBY, just the plot beats of the arc are just such a muddled mess. Like, it is.
Yep.
The Jean bully arc still exists, but man, the Blake, everything that Blake did from halfway through Volume 3 onward has just been a train wreck.
An unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's the best way to say it. But, so, but the thing is, the funny thing is, the things that they don't talk about, the things that they don't mention are the things that they've actually done really well. Like, they don't talk about Weiss very much. They don't talk about Renora very much. Those are the things that they've actually done really well. So anything that they talk about is the stuff I'm scared for. I'm scared for.
I'm loving the shot of the freaking knight, the armored Giga thing, dropping from the sky. Yeah, her stand. We need to give it a name. We need to give it a proper stand name.
Yeah, we need to we'll come up with a stand name. But
as far as positive things, though, the episode length, the fact they say they're going to cut out most of the characters, the fact they tripled the budget, things like that. Like there's a lot of good news as well. At least I have to say.
Yeah, we're cautiously optimistic.
In the bad news is that it's still being written by Miles and Carrie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel let's talk a little bit about let's give a few priming topics for this volume. So we've talked about this in private, so now we're going to talk about this in public. So I think the first big thing is to understand that I feel that Raven, from what it seems like from this trailer, that Raven is going to be a key plot point in this volume. Now, I remember pointing this out like whenever we were all talking together, was that it's like, man, you know what would be if Salem was smart and like was thinking to like if this was, you know, if we didn't have to worry about Miles and Carrie with their writing, it's like, man, you know, all these people that have been giving us trouble, like Crow and RWBY with her silver eyes, and then we've got the Spring Maiden that we assumedly knows that she can actually like fight and defend herself and like do stuff. It was like, hey, they're all in one area for this period of time. You know, it would be a really good opportunity to get a bunch of chess pieces off the chessboard. That would be a good opportunity for them to wipe off a few chess players at the chessboard. Because then who would they have to worry about at that point? Like the only person who really knows about the shenanigans going on is like Glenda and Ironwood. And like if Atlas farts too loud, everyone freaks out and they're like, oh no, Atlas is warmongering again. So like Atlas is kind of handcuffed at that point, but it's just like that's something that I feel would be interesting too. What's y'all's opinion on that as a primer? And then the other two topics that I want to bring up is, so it's Raven's the plot point, the fact that Lionheart's basically a double agent, then just as a what if scenario, which I hope happens, is a conversation between both RWBY and Raven. So let's start with Raven being the key plot point of this season, from what it feels like.
Should I go first? Or should Media go first?
Yes.
I'll go first? Okay. I mean, I like that a lot. I think, you know, High Powered, you and I both very much, we see eye to eye in quite a lot of things, to be honest, which I think is cool. And I think Raven is one of them. I think we both like Raven a lot. I think you might like Raven, but I find her very intriguing, and her being a focal point will be very interesting. We've talked about this several times, but we haven't mentioned this on the podcast, so I think this is the right time to bring it up, and you can feel free to jump in whenever you want to back me up or disagree here. But I know we talked about the whole thing about after the last trailers and interactions we've gotten that. And spoilers from the trailer, from the Yang trailer. And I am going to bring them up because we really should have gotten the trailer by now. And that is what we seem to be seeing is that, like what media said, whatever Yang goes for, she's going to get the opposite. So she went for RWBY. I think it's very clear. So she's going to run into Raven. And I think that means that's where I think a lot of Yang story is going to be this volume. And I think this is what we talked about, that Raven is going to try to persuade Yang to bring her into the fold of the Bandit clan or tribe, whatever you want to call it. And whatever happens, however long Yang lingers on that, she's going to leave and get away. I think that's very obvious. It's a show. And I wanted my. So that means that Raven's going to have to make a choice eventually, going to be the more of an antagonist at that point. Is she going to try to win Yang back for the right reasons? Or is she going to be kind of basically
just
a bad
keep
guy?
doing what she was already doing.
Yeah, and that's really going to just. I thought it was going to take longer to decide whether or not Raven's going to be more of a Zuko-like character, or if she's going to be more of an actual villain. And I think they're going to have to make that decision fairly soon, which I'm actually excited for. I like that she's being thrown into the spotlight, and I honestly don't care which one she becomes. If they do it right,
because it could work well both ways.
It could work well both ways. She's an intriguing character with a good voice actress, so she could, and it wouldn't be smooth either way. So I think it would be interesting to see whether or not she becomes more of a bad guy or more of a good guy, and I could see either one working. So I think that's a reason why it's great that she's going to be a focus of the season. Another reason is that I think everybody could end up converging on her based off of all the latest information that we've gotten, and I think that could be very interesting as well. So I love the idea of Raven as a center point.
And the other thing too is, like, I hammered this all the time during Volume 4, was that Blake has extreme plot relevance because whatever she do affects all the other girls. Now I can say the same thing for Yang, where so she's interacting with Raven, what she does has plot relevance for other, and Weiss could even get pulled into it also because, the CIA part of, the Atlesian military are probably trying to keep tabs on, any sort of group, and, probably the Bandit clans on their watch list at least, and I would assume that Winter would probably have some sort of interest in. They would definitely at least come up in an after action report or a debriefing that she had to go through. So that's something to be mindful of. Okay, media, it's your turn.
As far as Raven as a plot point, I think it's kind of already there in the trailer that people are going to start, at least Team Ranger and stuff are going to start heading that way. I do really want to just reiterate, I really want to know what Raven thinks of RWBY. I really want to know that whole dynamic. I want that to be explored, and we know that her dynamic with Yang is going to be explored because Barbara's kind of talked about that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm withholding judgment until we actually see more what is Raven's goal in all this. Because we simply just don't know. We know survival and stuff, but as far as which we are we talking about, we don't actually know.
Because the problem is of just survival is if you just aim for survival but never actually solve the problem of, this is the reason why I'm trying to survive. You're eventually going to lose out. You got to solve that problem of why you're trying to survive to begin with.
Yes, very well said.
So let's hop into Lionheart being a super double agent. This kind of brings back to what I think what a lot of us agreed to, where it's Lionheart's just going to send them all on a wild goose chase, or you mean, in all honesty, he could just feed them information and just, we're going to try to do something. Oh no, the enemy's 3 steps ahead of us. We're playing 2D chess and the enemy's playing 4D intergalactic mahjong.
Yeah, so I think that Lionheart, because this is a Boss Thing Say episode and they that it is great. I think that he is either a double agent or he's so manipulated by them that he's basically the same thing as a bad guy, whether he means to or not, if that makes sense. I think at this point I'm leaning toward him kind of being like in the middle of that, whereas like he knows that they're kind of bad, but he thinks that's the right thing to do for him as a leader. So he's not like super evil, and he's not like under like a spell or anything.
The thing I would really want to know is like what sort of leverage that they have to like get him to do this sort of stuff, which could be something that would be a good place to explore too.
Well,
also in this volume.
That's kind of my point. Is I think that's why I mean in the middle. He's not being tricked. He's not being forced. He's being persuaded by Watts that basically doing all the bad things to help Salem and her gang is the right thing to do, or is like his best option, if that makes sense. So they're not like hypnotizing him, they're possessing him, they haven't brainwashed him, and he's not so stupid.
He's been speeched into it, pretty much.
He's been speeched into it. He's not like an idiotic good guy, and he's not completely like evil. He's been persuaded, I think, is the angle they're going. That's my guess. That's the one I think would be the most Bossing Say-ish.
I think he's just a coward and has been intimidated into this. He's been roped in to this whole mess. Maybe he got spooked with the whole like beacon thing and realized, oh wait, I'm gonna go on a little tangent here. Oh wait, this whole thing that the whole plan Osmond had to protect the relics by burying them under the schools and just having the students protect them without the students even knowing that they're supposed to be protecting these things doesn't work because Cinder attacked Beacon with the maximum amount of students possible there available to fight her, and she won. So yeah, I kind of feel for Lionheart right now. Like I said, I'd probably join Salem at this point too.
Yeah, that's kind of what exactly. I think he's been logicked into it, and he's not. And I think that would kind of the thing is that make it more Bossing Say, because effectively Watts would be the leader of Mistral at that point. I think, and just like Long Fang, Watts is the Long Fang of this season, I think, and I like that.
But in reality, it's the secret police that actually have like pretty much all the power.
Well, yeah, he's the leader. He'll be the leader. He'll manage to take over whatever the Daily are.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the leader of the Daily somehow. Oh God, I can't wait to finish the season of Avatar.
So I think now we can. This is I feel this is probably the best primer this volume is.
Oh. So can I just say one thing that I forgot to mention?
Yeah, man.
About the trailer, and it'll explain my intro. I am, and this is why I don't like the trailer. I am so sick and tired of every movie and TV trailer sounding exactly the same. Batman Begins was alright, guys. It wasn't all that great musically. Danny Elfman did a lot better job with Batman than Hans Zimmer did. So why does every single movie trailer have to have those farting French horn? Just
hey, they like it because they can rattle the whole theater.
It's so boring. Like Hans Zimmer has
Star Wars had that.
Guys, Hans Zimmer used to know more than 2 notes. I swear.
He did. Hey, I still like Discombobulate. Discombobulate is fucking dope.
So So bringing it back to the potential RWBY and Raven conversation.
Okay, yeah, that one.
So,
I think that might be my favorite scene if it ever happens.
If it does, yeah.
On paper, this is probably we can get like I'd say the easiest things we can get from it. The most obvious things we can get from it is the first big one is we could potentially get some explanation on the Silver Eyes. Because Raven would be interested in a RWBY because, let's say that they have to fight a maiden that's not on the side of good. Oh, like Cinder. Huh. Having a Silver Eye Warrior in the deck would be extremely beneficial to her. 2, we can get insight on Team Stark. 3, we could get some information on Summer, which, in all honesty, it's probably...
And all of this, from a source RWBY wouldn't have already asked.
Yes. And the thing is...
That is key.
Yeah, and this is all, and to be real frank, I would assume that Raven would probably still be manipulative, but she would probably tell she would tell her version of the truth. And
well, yeah,
I feel that Raven's less likely to pull punches with RWBY than Crow and Ty.
Yeah, can I repeat what I told you the other day, Hype? Because I think this is what makes this really interesting is I think if they miss this opportunity, I think that's a big missed opportunity based on everybody seeing. Yeah, and then like what media said, this should be the best scene in the show possibly ever, because it's such a perfect opportunity for Raven. It actually makes sense for her to explain everything to RWBY, because in Raven's mind, she wants RWBY with her. She wants to recruit people to her group. I think that's the way she's still going to be acting at the point when RWBY talks to her. So it's perfect in that way because it would fit Raven's motivations, will give us insight into her, and it will give us a lot of information because it suits Raven's motivations to explain all of RWBY. Because this is, for Raven, it's like, oh, your dad never told you any of this? My brother never told you any of this? It's her manipulating
Like I said,
RWBY.
secrets, big secrets like that do nothing but bad in a show like this.
Yeah. It's Raven's opportunity to look like the good guy.
Plant doubt in RWBY's mind.
To plant, exactly.
Because she kind of already has that with Crow.
Yeah.
Back in that really, really god-awful episode last volume, where she's like, I get where you're coming from,
kids.
I get where she's like, I get where you're coming from, but why keep it a secret? It's so stupid to keep this stuff a secret.
It's like, I want you to trust me.
Yeah.
That's the thing that also, all Raven can just be like, hey, I'm going to tell you this stuff because I trust you. And then that would just sell that.
Yeah. It will make Raven look so good to RWBY.
I really want Raven to be more of a mom to RWBY than she is to Yang.
Yeah, that would be fucking amazing.
Do kind of like do the Sasuke and Boruto's dad thing.
Oh man, I remember whenever he was trying to kill your mom.
Boruto's dad.
I love that joke. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but it's also just so like how many go Sasuke, Boruto's dad.
But yeah, I mean,
even I get that joke. Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of potential for if that scene doesn't happen.
But like as far as that goes, like just the whole thing that like Sasuke is more of a dad to Boruto than Boruto's dad is, and Boruto's dad is more of a dad to Sarada than Sasuke is, and then they build the rivalries there, and it's just the best part of Boruto. It makes me really want to dive deeper into it instead of just watch it passively.
I think I'll put it this way. You guys will know that this is saying a lot. I will be more pissed if we do not get that scene than if we do not get a scene that 100% confirms Renora as a goal. That's how important that Raven RWBY scene is. That's how obvious it is at this point. That's how important it is at this point. I prefer to have that than I do to have Renora confirmation. So you guys know that's saying a lot. That's how important that scene is.
It would fix any potential problems with Yang's arc that will undoubtedly rise up because, again, look at who the writers are.
Yeah. So
I think we can let's close this out, and I look forward to the conversations we will have.
Yeah.
The night of the premiere.
Do we want to talk about like combat ready or anything else? I'm gonna say no to that.
It looks like shit. It looks like shit. The end.
Yeah.
Also, fuck them for putting it on
Kickstarter.
On Kickstarter when they have a fucking huge company backing them. Fuck them for that.
They could have just made an RPG game. We would have been happy with that.
That would have been awesome. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, tabletop RPG or that strategy game that they showed off in Volume 2.
Yeah, the
like,
Risk
Could have just
alike
been
game.
It could have just
By
been. Risk
the
with
way,
Ruby
by the
flavor.
way,
Ruby Risk would have been fine.
I'm gonna start like saving up stuff to actually like design a game around that. I'm gonna design my own version of that.
You
So
can
yeah.
call it Ruby. You can call it Ruby on Risk.
Damn it, that's good.
It is. That's why I gave it to you. Use it. So
yeah, I mean,
we're all three of us are going to the premiere tomorrow.
Yeah.
The next podcast we're doing on Sunday night, which
Yes.
is my birthday.
Yes.
So there's obviously going to be a day. I better get some episode for my birthday. I'll be so happy.
I'll tonight and tomorrow I'll save up some Renora memes for you.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll make sure that we're gonna relay if there's anything additional and any information that we have from the premiere. We'll talk about it. I'm not sure if Stock is going, but
Yeah, Sock can't go because he lives in
Sock can't
Colombia and there's like no major movie
there's
theaters
nowhere,
over there.
He also works doubles on Thursdays,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But us three will go, so we'll be able to relay that to you guys and make fun. And also, for anybody who doesn't already know, we have completely, as much as possible, we have standardized the podcast lineup for the actual episodes, which is us three and Socklacard, which is the Dream Team. And we will have the Avatar podcast coming up next week also, which I'm super fucking
and for the Beyond I'm going to call them the Beyond podcast. I'm not going to drop the RWBY moniker on stuff like that because it'll probably help. That'll have like much more flexible lineup. Like for Avatar, I'm really wanting to get Robert in on it.
Yeah, I would love to. I think the only two, for two for sure, I think Media and I will always those two as well. Because we're the two people that are willing to actually watch entire series just to research for the podcasts. So us two will probably always be in them, I'm assuming, but the other people will be.
Yeah, we'll be flexible with that.
Yeah, High Power will probably be in them too, but
yeah. Also, like something I'm wanting to do throughout December is I'm wanting to do like Star Wars, like end of November through December. I want to do some Star Wars podcasts, like one per movie.
Yeah, we have.
Like one per movie.
We could plinkett this shit up.
Yeah, I'm really excited. If you can't tell, I'm really excited for The Last Jedi. I have high hopes for it. I have like medial expectations just because the Star Wars has kind of lost its creative touch with since Disney took over, but they've still been good, like arguably better than the prequels. But there's just like, kind of a lack of like creative spark, especially in Rogue One. But
they're definitely better than they're definitely better than the prequels. I have no doubt about that. So
I'm a prequel apologist, and I will like I like when we do the Phantom Menace podcast, I will be like dressed up in armor and stuff, ready to freaking defend it to the death. But
that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So that's all. We can wrap up, do the plugs, and shut it down. Yeah, this is a short podcast. We wanted to hold out on the Yang trailer, but they freaking kept it from us. So
we were cuckolded by them.
Yeah,
it's so stupid. There's no good reason for it. I'm still mad about it. I have good reason to be mad about it. I think we all do.
Anyway, so if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. I am Mediocre4. You can find me. You can also find me on fanfiction.net. RWBY on Home has started. I'm trying to do like 2 chapters a week in that because the chapters are way longer than my typical fare. And it's really good. I'm really excited to get into some of the deeper stuff in that series, in that story. And you can also find us all on Facebook at the RWBY and Beyond podcast or RWBY and Beyond Facebook page. You can support me on Patreon, which I don't shill that out enough. I think, like I've had it, I've always had it, but I've like barely ever talked about it. And you know, I'll have episodic reviews out. I'm gonna try having those out like every Wednesday, from now on. Uh, and yeah, I mean that basically sums me up and the massive workload I have for this.
And we appreciate all the work you do for the Discord. Also, going to shill the Discord out if you want it. If you're on one of these Facebook groups that have pesky spoiler embargoes, you can join us on here on the Discord. I'd say a majority of us here are first members, so we'll basically be able to see it like as soon as possible. And even if you're not a first member,
Yeah, well, we have dedicated chats.
We have
for
dedicated
that.
channels for it, so it's perfectly fine. I would love to get more active voice members into the chat. That would be superb. But yeah, I mean, the more the merrier here. And yeah, I've been shilling the Discord on RWBY Republic, and I'm pretty certain it's in most of Media's videos.
Yeah, yeah.
The more people on here, the better.
You finally got somebody you've been trying to get into here for a long time.
Yes, we did. Just tonight we did.
David, finally got David McCalla, who does these really funny, like little comic or like
the watercolored fan art stuff.
Yeah, the watercolor fan art with which actually has some pretty funny and clever craft ships and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
And also, like, his arguments are not completely autistic, so I like him.
Yeah. So
yeah. Disagree, but he's not autistic about it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've had complaints about people, complaints from people about our liberal use of that word. So that's why I'm like,
they can deal with it.
Yeah.
Calling someone an autist on the internet is like calling someone a fag.
Yeah, it's getting to that point, which I kind of like. I kind of like taking power out of words like that. But
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so yeah, join us then just a few days by the time this goes up.
Yeah, just a few days.
Well, actually no, because I think because of the way the spoiler thing is on Rooster Teeth now, I'm going to purposely wait until Tuesday to upload podcasts.
Still, it's still you're gonna get this up tomorrow probably, so it's still less.
Yeah, I mean it'll probably be up in a few hours probably because I'm just gonna take it straight from the video file. Because I've been doing editing and stuff as we've been live. Gonna make it a little more interesting to watch. A couple visual gags. Anyway, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe again, and good night.
Peace.